Welcome everybody into the stream today. How are y'all doing? Welcome. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. I was rummaging through my closet. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Fuck yeah. Sunkissed cherry limeade flavor. This is bussin'. One of the top 10 bussin' sodas of all time. 100%. Let's go, chat. We will continue. Episode 4, The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. This is we completed chapter 3 last time, and here we are on chapter 4. There are not that many chapters left in this game, and this is only our second actual trial. So we shall see how things go down. Let us begin. We haven't even solved the case, mate. Episode 4. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. Anime time.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed.
I agree.
Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back.
Oh, shoddy.
Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Oh shit, dude. Oh, shoddy. Let's do it. 19th February, 9:47 a.m., British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. I feel like McGilded may not be as gilded as he seems. I agree. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than a day, even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Burya, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. I really am sorry. Damn, shoddy. Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. Ugh. London is a scary place. Ah, good morning to you at this early hour. I'm doing a more nasally kind of coffee voice with this guy, I think. I got fused yesterday and I nuked the entire lobby for almost like a 2K match. Nice, Wings. Good job. Oh, yes. Well. Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Suzato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes, it was very eye-opening, thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, I've already been appraised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh, no longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome a young talent from such a remote eastern island. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? The culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to prefer judgment. Well, Lord Van Zieks, it's been a pleasure, so it does. As for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Yeah, he was laughing like a man who just got away with murder. I just can't help but wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent. Mr. Naruhodo, it's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. This man got main villain energy? True. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. No! Oh my fucking god. What? Mr. McGilded is dead? I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Was he in the burning? Oh shit! I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. He was inside the flaming omnibus? Yes, of course, that was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? That is being investigated as we speak, but already the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of McGilded. That's awful. The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. That bailiff really needs to pay more attention. And how could that have happened? That is also being investigated as we speak. Bruh, momentum. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Fuck, so he did. So he did indeed. Well, I must be making tracks now. It is time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. What if this is a setup, though? What if he's not really dead? An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But then who was Mr. McGilded talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. Poor Mr. McGilded. Damn, shoddy. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was wow. Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old. Wow, Suzato-san has such a way with words. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. Shared my mind. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. ... The most advanced in the world, is it? It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. Simple? That was simple? As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I wonder if it was rigged. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. Anything but simple. How dare he bring the omnibus? It wasn't his fault. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much, at least, is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I have prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? What was he going to say before? New case. Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me it's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? That is to say, no one has died as yet. And the trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. So the trial is tomorrow then. Is everything alright? Oh, yes, I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was... well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilded's trial. Ah, yes, I nearly forgot. The heart of stone he's wearing and carrying. Dude, I don't know. Strong heart? Heart strong? Fucking, I don't know. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh, if the situation remains unchanged, the trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant. Yes, that's right. Here we go again. The names are almost puns, it makes me think. Who knows? Probably. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Yesterday you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world works so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing. Oh. Another thing. Continue. On the way here on the steamship, he said something to me. There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important? And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done if he'd ever made it to Great Britain. You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion. Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Asogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. Yeah, 'cause fucking I'm the main man, I'm the homie. I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. What's up, shawty? Does that man have chips back there in it? I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? So, I wish you the best of luck, and bid you farewell. You gotta be based? Yeah, you gotta be based for that. Where are the guns? Dude, there's like no guns in existence in this universe. Except for the fucking smoke gun. Jesus. You remember that? There might be muskets. I don't actually know. Something very important I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean? I wish I knew. But honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we had better talk to the detective, don't you think? He's like, what are you doing? Yes, you're right. I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. Shoddy had those apple bottom jeans. He is eating chips. Could we trouble you? What do you think? Lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out your hand, you know? But Susato-san told me it was foolproof. I'm a busy man, a very busy man, innit? There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having the likes of you to talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. It's not all swords. I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the big wigs these days. It all cause some bumpkin who sees a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tears. There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. Eh? Gumshoe. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. Eh? It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable! How did you pull that off? So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson. What's the matter with Susato-san? Is this detective's name mean something to her? Gregson. I'm Gregson. I eat chips. Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? You're acting like you know this man, Mr. Susato, but he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him very well, in fact. Very well? Yes, he features prominently in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Randst magazine? That's right, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. That's his highest praise? Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not, and thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit that to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not! There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. Oh, whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying. But I know what folks are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. I'm sure his eggs is eggs. I like the theme. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work. Oh dear, perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people. Case, tell me about the case, good sir. So, about the case that Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Not to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Brighton Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in the hospital unconscious. That's despicable. What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished whoever was off with a Susato takedown, would you? That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. Brace yourself, Ryunosuke. You've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. We barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So, there must have been something left at the crime scene that led you directly to the culprit. Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question. Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barak von Zeeks. No! Sounds like you've heard of him then. Heard of him? We've defeated him. Oh yes, we're very familiar with Lord von Zeeks. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. The Reaper of the Bailey. Reaper of the Bailey, motherfuckers. Let's go. Lord Barak von Zeeks, who we faced in court only yesterday. Mr. McGilda told us about him before that trial, didn't he? Oh, I get to do my Scottish accent again. Oh, no, I don't. Fuck. When Van Zeek stands for the prosecution, they call the accused... Wait, is this McGilda talking? Whatever. They call the accused as sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been prosecutor, the accused has been damned. I guess that's kind of true for McGilda, too, because he burnt up in flames. The Raper of the Bailey nickname. I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty, is that it? Mate, you don't even know. Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Von Zeeks, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty. Heh, and what of it? Oh, well, I think that means even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. Not his boyfriend. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Magnus McGilda became a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zeeks could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles. He works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? I don't think Von Zeeks did it. I think Von Zeeks has, like, I don't think Von Zeeks is really that bad of a guy. Like, if I were to guess, he's got, like, this Reaper, like, reputation, and all the defendants he accuses against dies. But I bet he doesn't even want them to. You know what I'm saying? I bet he's like, why the fuck does this keep happening to me, bro? Right, well, I feed you in as requested. Now I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be headed back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place? That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You've branded him a criminal already. He's as good as, shaking like a leaf in his cell, he is. He'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. Tries to warn people of bad habits and gets blamed for them. Exactly. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes. Let's go. Prison. Let's go to prison. I love the theme, bro. That's so good. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Local prison, cell 9. So these are British prison cells. Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon. Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo, you're making it seem worse. Apparently, our client is in the cell here, but it's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like.
Inmate 53, your local representative is here to see you. Stop on at the back of the cell and show your face out once.
Am I a cat, as yet with no name? Call me by a number. It's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I refuse to answer. Mr. Naruhodo, what? What do you think is going on here? I have no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. Oh, shit. Motherfucker. Hey, what's up? What's up, Sean? Excuse me, but who? Shit, quiet. They're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening. Even now, I can sense it. What a little guy. Right, so could I ask you who exactly? There you are. You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. A ghost? Mood. You mean you no harm, prisoner-san? Are you Japanese by any chance? This is beyond my wildest dreams. Alright, motherfucker, tell me what's up. Tell me what's good. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land! So, hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment! Jesus, JoJo pose. Who would have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? What compassion my fellow countrymen show to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never failing, nippin'! A first-class lawyer? Dude, he's getting it, dude. He just dabbed. Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example? Yes, I can. I will. Stand, stay, sullen, and silent! Okay. I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. First has competition, he does! And I'm Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notoriously named Natsume. Sosuke Natsume. Is it Sasuke? Soseki Natsume. Son? What an unusual name. Call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see, a writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias? He is getting it. That's right, Naruhodo-san. No! Don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that. And haiku, that really reminds me of home. Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First, I had to suffer that misery, and now this! It's beyond the pale. Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No! I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh. But, just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it? No! What do you mean? If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable. I see. Only the other day I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on whitewashi. Beware the man who speaks in alliteration, right? You must be a man of great standing. Oh yes, so I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems. Alright, the accusation. Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? I didn't do it. I didn't commit that atrocious murder. Murder? Oh, no, it's alright. That woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. What? If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker. It's vital that we find out more about the case. Yo, she kind of had those slanty eyes there for a second. About the case, it was a magical mystery murder, exactly. It was an accursed evening, just before the snow had started to clear, heavy with fog. I'd been told to the bookshop I had some books, and I was on my way back to the accursed lodgings. Sure the bookshop wasn't accursed too? As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat, she was. And just as I went to overtake her, oh, like walk past her? Okay. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed under the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. How terrible. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps. Bro, she's slim thick. I was so terrified I had to get away from there, so I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know. They'll run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that. I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. I see. A young woman unknown to Soseki-san. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anyone pass you? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one. Oh, great. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creature creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? What conundrum? Okay, who fucking stabbed him? That's the conundrum. What do you mean, Soseki-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says he didn't know the victim, and that there was no one else at the scene. Then, he apparently fled without having been seen. I did! But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. What did you say? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Oops, perhaps I thought that a little loudly. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested? Sorry? He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place? Oh, yes, she's right. It was him, that accursed great detective. He led the police to me! Oh my god. Of all the bad luck! Accursed great detective? Could it be? I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live, with his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed, pussy buddy, begone! May you be cursed until the end of your days, Hairlock Sholmes! I knew it! Mr. Sholmes? Fuck yeah, I love Mr. Sholmes. Well, Hairlock, how could you? I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me. "'Tis the police! Put the weapon down!" Yes, it was a thin silver, and yes, it was hard. But I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting. Dietary discrimination. Devils. Devils. Let's not get too Attack on Titan-y here. You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat at Herlock Sholmes. It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Cried the lactose-intolerant officers, exactly. The great detective is very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me? This week's stooped kid never. I wonder what great deduction process led him to this conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. My friend is foreign film flammery. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point, good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles, and before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine. He's not fine now. Yes, I do. Oh my god. Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple Mr. is more than enough. Oh, yes, all right, yes. They've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. A student? I have defended a case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Damn, Shoddy. Oh, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? Oh, he's true Sag. I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, who do you mean? The lawyers. Oh, the British defense lawyers. They won't defend me. Goodness, why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them, somebody not to be trusted. They're racist. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man will be a waste of time, they said. And of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. That's awful. They're wrong! I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Soseki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please. Huh? I'll do what I can, for the time being. What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh, yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Fuck yeah, Shoddy. Dude, this game has got great themes of racism. If that makes sense. He's probably right though. Victoria era in Britain had not great education. True. True. That's a bent bike right there. Where's Sholmes? I know he's here. So this is where it happened. Briar Road. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job, you know? But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but I never dreamed I'd come this close to a real Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Of course. I have to try on one day. Well, I hope your Hattie dreams comes true.
Oh, yeah, well, what's going on here, blokes? Hello, how you doing? What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
This is not a tourist trail, I'm fairly sure you're well aware.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So you've been to the holding cells, then? So why'd you make the criminal?
He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The blokes in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion.
Ugh, a stone-cold air rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air. That makes it worse somehow. Can we examine? Is Holmes here? First of all, what the fucking bike? That's what I want to look at. A British bicycle, look! Although, the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore. Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling. It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well. The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that. Goodness, do you dislike bicycles? No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off firm ground seems reckless. If you'd ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river, I know you'd agree with me. We'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around. Fuck yeah, shoddy. Why is the music so good, though? There are holes in those? That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history. Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks in decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here. We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible. Yes, you're right. Cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Snowman! What a delightful snowman! I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making a snowman as well. Looks like a little creepy, though. Oh, it has a scarf. Look. You'd need one if you were out in this freezing cold all the time. I wish I had one. I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment, too. We certainly can't afford a scarf. Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his. But the person who made the snowman certainly would. Yes, I know, you're right. Anyway, even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. Alright, here, we can talk to Gregson, I guess. Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place. Let the women ride the bikes, hell yeah.
The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization for anywhere in the world, ma'am.
Oh, and you know, I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful?
Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you.
Oh really?
First thing in the morning, you know what he does? He goes round and rouses all the labourers on his beat so they can get off to work.
What? He wakes people up?
Yep, raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself, going back a bit.
I had no idea.
The Bobby works for the paper of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts stylishly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance.
I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Let me see. 20 miles? That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far.
And when it gets dark, of course, that's important to drop a light on the gas street lamps.
Oh my! Sorry, I had a little cough. I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are inspected to investigate cases as well. And chase after criminals trying to evade the law.
I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men Nick Keel know from time to time, I admit.
I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Nadahoda. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Not the case.
It happened around 5 in the evening 2 days ago, just there on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind.
Is it right that the young lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's been treated in hospital.
I never said she was a lady.
Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course.
Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want.
Really? Are you sure?
It's yard policy to give lawyers, defendants, suspects your bit of information to go on.
Dude, how the fuck are the lawyers in this game from like 100 years ago, like, actually allowed to give more shit than the fucking detectives in the Phoenix Wright games? What the hell? We've gone backwards on police lawyer detection shit. That's hilarious. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We'll gracefully accept. Local man. Because everyone hates Phoenix until they don't. True. Dude, they hate Ryunosuke more because everyone in this game is fucking racist. that's like one of the main themes.
Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head scratcher, is it?
Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but just because he didn't see anyone, it does not mean we can be sure that nobody else was present.
No, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure.
How? Even though they're racist, they've been giving him more to work with? That's true.
Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed.
What?
We have 2 very reliable witnesses, no less.
Ah!
It was a typical foggy London day. The client obviously didn't see him.
There were witnesses now? Witnesses. Who are these witnesses, Inspector?
A fellow and his wife, and the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard.
A policeman? That might change things. Does this policeman just happen to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked?
Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a Bobby, catching them banging the act and all that.
Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions?
Be my guest, you can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow.
Oh.
I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. Because that'll give you something to look forward to.
That's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. The policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this can make our job very difficult indeed. Racist people more based than non-racist? This is a joke. Yes. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector.
What?
The person who led you to the suspect, I hear that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
What are you bringing him up for?
Was it something I said? The color is drained from his cheeks. Oh, he hates Sherlock. Herlock, my bad.
That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. You going to defend him or not?
Well,
makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole.
Because the prosecution's being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean?
There's no way to save the man now.
It's a waste of time trying.
It is all a bit strange, though.
Sorry?
The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now.
Yes, we did hear something to that effect.
And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals, the violent ones.
Master criminals? The violent ones?
That's right. He handpicks his victims, only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely. That's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. Are we really gonna have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it? Mate, who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. Creepy Star Allies. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle faddle! Oh! The man's an amateur. I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gibble gabble. Ah! Ever seen this before? Oh, yes, that's Rand's magazine. The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears. Yes, Will, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several yards of detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes take it all, tail it all. Tail, not take. Sure, please stop speaking British to me. I suppose there's an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be fronted by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. Mr. Nadahoda, can I make a suggestion? What's up, Shotty? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Sholmes for all this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address, even. It's Baker Street! How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. 21B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We'd better try to find our way there before Suzato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage. So we're have a reunion already with the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum. Music. What if Sholmes not a good person? I don't buy it for a second. Ah! Anyway. Oh, look at this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Just
much.
up there overlooking the street. Good day.
Good day.
Thanks again.
They're so quaint. Oh shit, shoddy.
This is it. The residence of Mr. Sherlock Sholmes.
I recognize that voice actor. Do you know? Man, this is a big house. He likes plants. That's a good sign. No bad person likes plants. There's a knife stabbed into the wall. Sholmes is sweet. So this is where the great detective makes his living. Feels surreal to be here somehow. Well, my god. Is it as described in the stories, Mr. Sato? Suzata-san? Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he appears into the fog dawn down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can, yes. So if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please don't mind me. She's obsessed. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? Ah! I knew it, I figured.
Hello, is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes?
Hello? Wait.
Aren't you? Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once.
I'm still trying to figure out a good voice. I'm sure it's the same girl. Mr. Suzato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case. The King of Bowaria? King Wilhelm Gottreich Sigismund von Orstein, of course! Fucking round of applause for me fucking braving that pronunciation without any pauses. Fuck yeah. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment and look over there.
The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well.
I don't know if I can do a high-pitched voice. I don't know if I can, chat. Ah, it's you! I knew it. Suzato-san recognized her too.
There you are. Oh my gosh, you taking with that with I was looking for the child one nice remember to smoke a pot.
I don't know how to voice her, dude. I don't know, I'm at a loss. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGillicuddy's trial in the defendant's antechamber.
I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you having to get straight to work when you only just arrived in London.
Oh, yes, it was challenging.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? Oh, no, it's piss. Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor.
Hooray, it's a winner. I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and here to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
How do you know all that? Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance?
Oh, you know Hurley, do you?
Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you, surely.
Mr. Sholmes was the fellow passenger on that boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday at the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think? My God. And perhaps more to the point. Why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Oh, silly me, I haven't introduced myself, have I?
Small little bow. Don't mind me. Just doing my thing.
It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live here together with Hurley.
I don't know if I like that. Oh, Iris, is it? What a lovely name.
What?
What's the matter?
No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson?
Shit. Is that someone I recognize? Is that someone I need to recognize? No. Don't think so. Degree in medicine is the author of a popular series of short stories.
Yes, that's right. And what are your names?
Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. How old is she again? Just making sure. Okay, she's 10. That makes sense. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Suzato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you.
Lovely, Susie and Bruno. Got it.
Susie and Bruno? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start. Susie, that's great.
Yes, and so do I.
Iris. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey?
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us.
This thing! Say cheese! Like this? Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Ginny? Yeah, she's a professional pickpocket.
So we found out.
It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that.
Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption?
Exactly, so I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions.
This girl's dangerous.
Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she can apologize to my trusty technician.
Sorry, your technician?
Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Herlock Sholmes, we live here together.
I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter.
Daughter? Not likely.
What?
I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I?
Well, then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Please don't be weird, please don't be weird, please don't be weird.
Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
Your roommates. I thank God.
Hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year.
Well, what of your mother and father?
They fucking died, asshole!
She gets like super mad.
Oh no, they're not around.
Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. I'm about to panic, right?
Right? I met Mr. Holmes on Discord.
No, chat. No, no. Oh yes, there's something I must ask you.
Of course, go ahead, Susie.
I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes and...
Oh, you have a copy of Randst magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world.
My stories? Oh, she writes the adventures.
That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a...
Oh, she does the exact same pose. She does the exact same thing that he does. Okay, that's funny. He's like her dad. He's not her real dad, but he's basically her dad. Okay.
It'd be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard of them, don't you think?
Please don't be creepy sugar daddy situation. Exactly. That's what I was thinking, bro.
Goodness. Last night he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So you are the author. Oh, the Wilson in the stories! Chad, you remember it was like, Herlock said to Wilson, the steam come out. Like that's what, this is Wilson. This is the Watson. Oh my God, this is Herlock's Watson. Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure the Speckled Band.
The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble.
Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course, I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you?
Wilsonette, exactly.
So do you mean to say, are the stories here about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Randst magazine all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson.
Suzato-san's getting more and more worked up.
Yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine.
No, at 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
Well, that's quite incredible.
But Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh.
This girl could do surgery. Chat, would you trust this girl to surgically remove your kidney? Would you? I mean, I don't know. Absolutely not.
But this sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow.
It reminds me of Phoenix and Maya a little bit. That's the funny part. We're all making fun of it, but do you remember in Justice for All, Phoenix was walking around with like 9-year-old Pearl behind him, accompanying him everywhere. It's not that weird, low-key. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, for this series, it's not that weird.
I suppose it does, yes.
Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world is just falling apart. All right, your deductions. About before.
Yes. What's on your mind, Runo? Do tell me.
How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean?
Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted. Although, there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin.
No, not one of these.
Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Oh, fuck, here we go. Fuck yeah. Oh shit, dude.
First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Runa. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that?
I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket.
Stop staring at my tits! Oh!
So I was recently confident that you must have been only arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs.
The Reaper of the Bailey. I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with the suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, Tom told me that even you only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
I see. I like the background, though.
But how could you have known the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved another case. It obviously amused him. He told me that he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling.
Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been...
Mr. Natsume. Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case.
Well, fuck yeah.
There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions.
Motherfucker, okay. Dot to dot to dot to dot to dot. Dot to dot to dot to dot to dot.
Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct?
They were spot on.
That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction.
You even managed the certain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery.
Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that.
This is really very good news.
You can tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please?
So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, and you were saying?
Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene.
Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems.
Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking, stooped man.
Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Soseki-san said that he didn't see anyone else on the street at all. But it seems there were witnesses after all.
Hurley used his great deductive power to determine this man's address. It was the lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man, shivering in fear.
Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time.
Of course it did. He's a great detective.
Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it?
Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime.
Oh.
Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently.
Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire.
That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person.
That's terrible.
I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system.
I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Hey, she had the pearl pose. She had like the pearl pose. I recognize that shit. I had like a fucking visceral flashback for like the Phoenix Wright games.
Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well.
Ah, well, I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene.
Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, Mr. Nuts. Oh, May. Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there?
Yes, we know Inspector Gregson.
Oh, goody. In that case... Give Greg C this for me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know.
What is this?
A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems.
Okay. It's refreshing to see childlike characters look like children, I suppose.
It reads, tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it?
Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Are we bribing Greg? That's fun.
Good luck then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript. The Spickled Band. I'll be making more special blends of tea. So come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris.
How did we get in here? Was the door not locked?
Well, Mr. Nanahoto, it's back to the scene of the crime.
Let's go, shoddy. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all, we headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Damn, shoddy. To be continued. I'm out of soda, bro. Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go! No soda. No bitches?
I know what the time and place is. Just get me on into the game already.
Play weed shop? No. It looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation.
Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible.
Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Ah, yes.
Take that.
Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I do. I'm a very busy man. Too much busy talking to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure.
We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson.
What? From me? From her ladyship? No. 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 Please. Please, Gregson. Please. Her ladyship.
Give that here, at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me.
Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? Not like this. Not like this, chat. Not like this. What was that coin exactly?
It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee, that's what it is.
An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean...
That's right, for the Adventures of Fairlock Shones. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time.
Yes, yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly.
Of course, her using my name without my say-so does me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still.
I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you.
Oh, never mind you that. So, what do you want to know then, eh?
Sorry?
The other gentleman in black, whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. It says. Obviously, it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
Ah, the little knife-wielding, mouse-stached Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovel. He's just over there. Look.
The motherfucker! God damn it.
On the first floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle is propped up.
That is nearby indeed.
If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Gary Dibbib. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, yeah? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes.
Don't worry, Inspector. We will.
Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship.
No! Not like this! Okay, well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings?
Definitely.
Bum, 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 bum. Not like this, man. What the fuck is all this? Why does he have a maid outfit on a cannon? Huh? Oh, hello there, man. That looks suspiciously like the woman who was stabbed. May I help you? Yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb?
Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling?
My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes his lodgings here. Ah! We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb.
Okay. You see that, Mr. Zato? That was a real-life English maid. I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. Garadeb? Garadeb? I don't get the pun. I don't get it, I'm sorry. It certainly feels like we really have arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment.
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. This way.
Girahim? No. Oh my fucking god. What's up, shoddy? How you doing?
Good day to you, John Garadeb, at your service.
He looks like a half moon. He does. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. I took a shot to the knee a few years back at the Battle of Maiwon, don't you know? I earned a medal for my pains, but I had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to an up-and-comings.
So he's a retired soldier.
It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much as you can imagine.
Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. That doesn't really look like a British uniform to me. That looks more like a Japanese, like the sword too. I don't know. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you're very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Gibbous, like Gibbous Moon? I'm not sure.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal was just a fodder-all, really. Wouldn't like to offend the gentleman, though, so I begrudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? That's just good people see.
Joan Garadeb? I don't know.
Good people see it properly. Joan, fetch them. Ah! Dash it, old woman, be careful!
Oh, dearie me, I beg your pardon, sir.
Oh, you're telling me you took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir.
Oh, anyway, there you have it. Living a quiet life now.
Yes, I see. She really nearly killed that man.
Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only too pleased, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the priest here politely. Oh, that's disgusting. We forged on lines with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. Although this case is very much in the public eye, as it were.
Oh, is it?
Even has some famous detectives poking around you now. In this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Infected burns, death sentence, exactly.
Could have been, didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business.
Oh, but you have a copy of Rand's magazine here. Chat! What if it's like a fucking, aggro situation? Like, this guy can't go down the stairs, right? What if he threw the knife at her? What if he's got the fucking... What if he chucked it at her? Yo, chat. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But you have a copy of Rand's magazine here, so...
No,
Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak.
So he's in Soseki-san's room.
It's a bally nuisance in my list. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It surely is happening.
I'm yawning, mate. Get acroed, loser, right?
About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrett, please do tell us.
Oh yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then?
I have 2 lodgers most of the time. One on the ground floor and one just below us. First floor became unavailable a week ago, you see. There'd been... Ah! That's an old Joe, do be careful.
Oh, my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Every time she starts pouring, I know what's coming.
If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I laid eyes on him.
I love her little cheek smack. Do it again. Yeah! Joan's my favorite already.
Oh, why?
I love Joan.
He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything.
We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure.
Was there anything else that struck you suspicious about the man at all? Ah! Yes, oh yes, indeed there was.
And she's dying to tell us. Bum, 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 bum. She's so... it's so fun. I love her. How do you notice anything else about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh my God, yes, the man was sadder than an elephant.
Could you elaborate?
Well, take the man's room, I'm truly stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor go. He just starts off at that old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time anyone in the house has gone to bed too.
Oh, I see.
The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning.
Ah. Could you clarify something, I wonder?
What, pray?
It's probably because of time zone difference. How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
Oh!
I had understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct?
That's right, yes. They were below us on the first floor on the street level.
Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed.
Because we're the killers of this case, you see.
Ah! Good grief, Joan. Do be careful, woman.
Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Something doesn't add up here.
You know, we're the killers of this case. We're so suspicious.
It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time?
Ah, the window?
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. Did you perhaps drop a knife on someone? The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garden household. So I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything.
How about you, Joan?
No, sir, it would have been dusk outside after that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Did Joan kill? I don't know. You know, you want to know what I think it is? I think he's the moon and she's the sun. I think that's what it is. If you look at like their heads, like she's got like sun spikes out of her, and he's got like the moon shape. I think he's the moon and she's the sun. I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Oh, wow.
Yes? Was there something then?
Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time of year there.
For the love of God, Joan, what are you doing?
Oh, dear me, what have I done? I'm so sorry, sir.
There's like a massive fucking puddle underneath him right now. Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow.
Oh, yes?
I have an exceedingly good memory as far as I remember. Nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all.
Yeah, dude, every time he starts to give info, she fucking burns him. Really? Mr. Garrett? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been.
Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing.
Ah! Joan Dashnell, what is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Ah, yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Garrett.
Joan? What is the matter with these two? Joan, did you murder someone? Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. What? I wish I knew. Maybe Joan is the killer, Chad. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on?
Why, certainly. It's below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there as soon as we speak?
Yes, told me Nat, his name, had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean?
Don't see why not. He's just on one flight of stairs.
Who knows if we'll find anything that can help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Oh my god! You know what I'm wondering about, though? What the fuck is with this? Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek.
My murder stuff is behind there!
I think the maid is going to head us out with a cup of tea. Let's go to Mr. Neradeb's room or whatever. Mr. Natsume. He's got a cat! Ah! Kitty! What? Just look at this place. And smell it. So musty, crusty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. She's looking at the cat. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me either. It's so dark in here, too. He fucking bricked up his window. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. Look at the kitty. Look at the kitty. This is where Mr. Natsume lives. And by the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Have you? No, it's true. But according to what Mr. Garrett told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Let me just, Oh, he's behind the books. But there's a kitty cat! Ah! Look at the little kitty! Kitty, kitty, kitty! Come here, little kitty! Oh
my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days.
Bro! I want the cat. I want the cat. No! Oh my god. Kitty. The desk seems to be wedged on a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit here and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides are these towering old tomes. Surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done. Mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it, look. And the date of purchase, 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Okay, that's good. We got nice evidence. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I literally called it. What are you doing here, you bloke? Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you too. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burya. Yes, of course, the Burya. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Sogi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh. Well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Suzato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. Kissable man. He is indeed. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of past involvements a little. A little? If it isn't a mistake to think one's brain attic has elastic walls and can extend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but unfortunately, my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Oh goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madame, I should be only too pleased, and this musky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. I love Sholmes, man. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Miss Suzato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Suzato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as the pain you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. A man seen fleeing.
There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliography. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh dear. What if it's a Matt on guard situation? I don't know if it would be this early in the game. Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. Who's definitely not involved with the murder in any way, right? It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the Great British Institution that is the services. And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the Great British Institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standings of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man who lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. But sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked off with bricks. I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh my goodness. I actually have heard of this. It's a real thing. There are a lot of like old English houses that have a lot of windows boarded up. So this is actually a real thing they're talking about right now. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere. In an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. For some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Alright, hit me with it, Sholmes. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder?
to the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I can possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether it is not relevant to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garrett Evans? Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that can help or establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garrett's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be irrelevant or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. I guess it's time to probe. Time to probe these bitches. Ah, you paragon. Tell me, where's the detective chap? I forget his name. Still hard at work down there? Yeah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, yes, rings a big bell. All that detective business is really what you go. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Really good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what... Ah! For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what the bally well you're doing? I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Huh? Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, but if you be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We're deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't you get much time to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrett is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. I already know exactly what to dig into, brother. There's a candle on the floor. God damn it, mate. I can't look. Oh my god, is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is over there on the right? I saw his bag out of the corner of my eye. What's he doing over there? What's he doing? Mr. Sholmes. Haha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. What are you doing over the window? I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took on the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. And one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Let's do it. Do you mean Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Nutterhooter?
I think so. There's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark.
Let's fucking do it.
Mr. Gabardeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements.
I beg your pardon?
The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care.
Eh?
And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Nutterhooter, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions both spot on.
How could you possibly?
How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? For a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gabardeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast is that run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has been fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts.
What is pipeful, I ask you?
In the end, your admiration became so great in fact that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house.
What?
He's got a smack mark! Did you see that? He's got a smack mark on his face. Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you would imagine. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, and as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame! I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to see with one glance in your direction. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Gabardeb, at Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe.
I most certainly did not.
I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion, and a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Aftermath topic 2. Now, Mr. Gabardeb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being reveled by that supporting arm. It's a smack mark, dude. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage.
Nonsense, man. I simply...
But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contained another demand for payment. 4 cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea.
Indeed, feeding your beloved has been a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household.
And so you had no choice but to let it go.
Yes, well,
Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Ah. This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me.
that's not a blood stain, I don't think. That's like a burn mark.
Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. Ah. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beastry with an unsatiated appetite. On the edge of the run? Oh, there might have been. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India.
Carpet gnawed on by the starving lion. Man, there's a joke there I could make, but I won't.
Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle.
Bum 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 ba bum bum ba da da dum bum bum ba bum bum. Ah! What does the matter with you, Toad? You're pouring scalding hot tail over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Toad. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too.
Oh. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation?
Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it again?
Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size?
Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts.
The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well?
But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrett and his mate would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon.
I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus.
And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Mr. Zato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
Oh, what a glorious notion.
Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again.
I had a feeling that was coming.
A slight massage, that's all Mr. Holmes' deduction needs. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward. Mr. Naruhodo!
We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case.
Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation.
At least that's what I want to believe.
Let us start again. From the beginning of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
It certainly shouldn't see a great detective to see that the fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gadab, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of this beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue.
I really didn't see the lion thing coming.
No, but if you observe Mr. Garredeb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room.
Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garredeb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. Oh shit! It's a cat! No, is it a girl? What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garredeb's wedding. Oh, him and his maid are married. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. Oh, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Miss Naruhodo. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh my god, is this going where I think it's going? Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. It looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. I'm gonna present it. Take that! Take that! The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print picture of your wife, Mr. Garredeb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscure, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be a stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Garredeb. Arrgh! Yeah, he's got a slap mark on him. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well. Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame! Oh, me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue to the beast's current whereabouts. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Miss Garredeb anywhere. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that his maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garredeb's wife could be. It's the maid, Shoddy. Look at her finger. Look at it. It's right here. It's right here. Take that. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue to the beast's current whereabouts. Oh. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garredeb's bride here in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. Oh. No. You are Mr. Garredeb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garredeb herself. Oh my word. Oh my word. I love to see it. I love it. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is my wife, yes, my Jo. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corkerback. Ah! It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. Your wife is clearly fucking abusive. After all, you're a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garredeb has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garredeb? Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please! The raging wife of Mr. Gyarados. Jesus. Solved! Yo, why is the music heating up? Now, Mr. Gyarados. It is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Gyarados' wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. But Mrs. Gyarados is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm seems to be propping up his head. Has some other significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Gyarados' pain is tangible though. What could that pose of his really signify? Bro, you got a motherfucking slap mark, bro.
Take that!
Take that. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madame Joan Gyarados? Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. How the blazes? How did you work that out, man? Nothing else escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subject to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Gyarados to fly into a rage. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed. This is unironically in all true reality, veterans are abused by their spouses. You know what? That's fair. That could be true. And that kind of sucks. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Gyarados' wife. Mr. Nadahodo, she's a person, not a thing. And yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Was he cheating? Oh, shit. Oh, shit! Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here. Look. Mr. Gyarados is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh, no, it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And next to the signature here, lip marks made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh, dear. I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note, then.
Take that!
Take that! He might have deserved it, maybe. Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here? Oh my god! But I don't know the Bali woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. That's what I've been saying. Ah! A likely story. Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained that at the time. I bought the book at the second-hand place, and then I must have already been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right. That's why I've been so.
unlikely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John. Ah! Unlikely story. Are you questioning my name now? Oh my god! And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bites. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last, unimaginable attack. Unimaginable?
I don't think those are blood stains. I think that's like burned singes of the carpet.
The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by the observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dear me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wondering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire station of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cake. But surely Mrs. Garrett didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of the disarray in this room isn't a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Mrs. Garrett's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer. All right, let's see what we can see. Yes.
So we can only look left and right here. Can we see the candle? Is that what it is? Carpet. The candlestick is fucked up. But let's see what this is first. Circus handbill. This is an advertising handbill for the circus. Batty's Circus. It's in a nearby park. Isn't this the same as the one we saw earlier? The one that was folded up in Mrs. Garrett's pocket. Perhaps they're very great circus lovers. It couldn't be that the Hungry Lion is somehow involved again here, could it? Oh dear, I do hope not. Probably not then. Something on the table for sure. Let's try the candlestick. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's only one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one of the candle of the three missing from its holder? I think it's the candlestick.
Take that!
Boom. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garrett's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight and the whole corner of the room was in flames. Yes, sir. For the most ferocious beast in the world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there's but one conclusion here. Fuck yeah, do it. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Oh shit. Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you! Oh, my good buddy John has died. Carpet scorched by a small fire. Soft. We might have just killed that man. Deduction complete. Elementary. Fuck yeah. Love those.
It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just round the corner. But I'll buy all mine old novels there.
And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems.
Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt description. Ah!
Here we go again. And the carpet, was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor?
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. Whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bully thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raising flames.
You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you.
Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. Bully furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide their mess behind that screen for the time being.
Show me it. Over here, Mr. Garrett? Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me.
Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. And the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There was I, back up against the window under heavy evening fire. Incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen.
I told my friends you were my boss and I work for you. What? That's like technically true, but technically not. I mean, I don't pay any of my mods.
Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes. Your notorious love of big cats coming through again.
I assure you the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest.
So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again. It can only be described as a great British wonder. I know why you get confused with Phoenix Wright. Wait, why? This is my 4th box of Sour Patch Kids this week. Hell yeah, I fucking love Sour Patch Kids, dude.
I tell you, I was total con. There's flames everywhere and the old stick and fuel fettle.
That's the name, too? Yeah, Naruhodo is, Phoenix Wright's name in Japanese, I'm pretty sure. It's like... Naruhodo is Phoenix Wright's name, and yeah. That's what I was... I know that. Because I've seen clips of the Japanese dub of the anime, where they call them, the voice actresses go, Naruhodo! You know? Out of interest, what time of day was that?
Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think.
So at exactly at that time, as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window in the street below. Yeah, no, I think it was confirmed that this Naruhodo is like Wright's ancestor, because don't you remember in the first trial where the Ouchie was the prosecutor, like Winston Payne's ancestor, and then Kazuma was like, a millennia may pass, and the Ouchie clan will never defeat the Naruhodo clan. Like, I think that's literally why Pain loses to Phoenix every single time. Because fucking Kazuma cursed his whole fucking bloodline. They cursed his bloodline!
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
It's written in stone, bro. It is. Oh, really?
That's something really helpful.
Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. What can I do for you? Well, I think we've got at the bottom of Mr. Garrett-Up's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man was hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret proved to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only 2 categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think.
take yourselves to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Shigurd.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry.
Thank you both very much for your time.
So Saiki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer.
Pussy tight, pussy clean, pussy fresh.
Chat, that seems like a good place to end today's stream. Oh my god, I already saved, but go ahead and do it already. Anyways, chat, that is going to be the end of the day's stream. Thank you guys so much for coming out. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all here. No raid for today since we don't have enough people, but I will see you all tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great day. Farewell, everybody.